It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 8th day of December, 2020, coming to you from a cold and windy Central Virginia. I'm in Bedford County, right outside of Lynchburg, where we have gone through two nights of blizzard conditions. We've had a total accumulation thus far at the farm here in Bedford County of 6 flakes, which is the most snow we've seen in the last 2 years. But there's not a whole lot of accumulation so far, which is fine with me. I got a couple things to cover this morning. Actually, I want to get to about 3 things before we get to the news, folks. One, we finally got past a milestone last week on the number of subscribers. We went over 2,100 finally. It seemed like it took months and months and months and months and months for us to get from 2,000 to 2,100. We're finally over that little threshold now. So if you are new to this channel, welcome aboard. If you have not subscribed, please do so. That way you'll know when I go live or when I post a video. We do this travel and cruise industry news every Tuesday. Thursday is Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have all sorts of other featured programs during the week, including the Cruise Amigos. And on that vein, for those of you that have been following the Cruise Amigos and our nonprofit foundation that we started called Support a Port, we are making our first donation, which will be made. I'm not sure if it's going to actually be made tomorrow or Thursday, but this week the money will be sent up to Whittier, Alaska. Pete and Lady and our boots on the ground up there in Whittier, that's, the Anchorage area. That's the port for Anchorage. Have identified, I believe it's 4 families with 6 kids total that have been hardest hit by the pandemic and the lack of cruise ships coming through there. And we're going to channel the funds to those folks through our partner on the ground up there, which is a food bank at one of the local churches, and they're going to actually handle getting the stuff to the folks up there. Now, we still, folks, obviously, the more money we get for these guys, the better. If you have not donated and would like to, please go to our Support a Port page. It's simple, just supportaport.com, and please donate to help out. The money will be up there. This will be our first donation of the foundation will be made this week. So we'd appreciate any help we can get. Make a little bit better Christmas for some kids and some folks up there in Whittier, Alaska. So that's happening on that front. The other front, we talked a bit about mobility scooters with my medical conditions, kind of multiple now. And several of you gave me examples of folks in your families that had gotten Medicare to pay for a part of or all of mobility scooters for some of your parents and, grandparents or other members of your family units. And I did some further study, and my Medicare program provider, which is Humana, and my supplemental policy, will pick up 80% of the tab. So that's going to be a major benefit. I can probably, even though I'm looking for a lightweight, foldable scooter that I can just throw in the back of the truck and go once we get past the lockdowns and so forth and get the vaccines, and I can start doing some things again. Once we get past that, maybe I'll be able to get a little better quality one because of the fact that Medicare is going to foot some of the bill. But this afternoon, I'm meeting with Dr. David Smith. Some of you might remember him. We did an interview with him back in the early months of the pandemic. But Dr. David is going to generate the paperwork. It's got to come from a medical person. So Dr. David's going to start the paperwork on me getting it approved for Medicare to pick up for that. So I'll be getting a scooter here sometime in the near vicinity. Of course, I'm still not going to be using it much for the short term, but we hopefully be using it a lot here in the future. The other thing is the terrorist cats that I've referred to on several occasions who, when I turn the light on in the studio here, completely disappear. I just wanted to report to Emily up there in New York and you other cat lovers that Charmin and COVID are absolutely worn out from trying to destroy Christmas decorations. They just wore themselves out last night from that endeavor. So that's the terrorist kitties. All right, the top story of the day. Today is UK V-Day. Now, I realize, folks, that there's clearly some historical meaning to V-Day that is not what it means today. But from today on, I'm calling it the UK Vaccination Day. The United Kingdom has become the first Western nation to begin vaccinating citizens with a COVID-19 shot outside of the clinical trials, a landmark moment in the coronavirus pandemic. The first Briton to get the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, 90-year-old Margaret Keenan, received the first of 2 doses at 6:31 a.m. local time this morning at University Hospital in Coventry, less than a week after UK became the first country to approve it. Keenan, who turns 91 next week, said she felt privileged to be the first to get the shot. Ironically, guys, the second person to get the shot was William Shakespeare. Not that William Shakespeare, but another William Shakespeare. It was a gentleman that was next in line. Not spelled the same way, but anyway, his name was William Shakespeare. And I figured that you guys over there in the UK, now we got that. We need a James Bond to be in the line somewhere up near the top. And if you got this first lady and then you got William Shakespeare and James Bond, you guys are being awesome and heading in the right direction. I'm excited about this, folks. And I tell you what, not only because the guys in the UK have gotten it going and there's actually some jabbing in the arms now, but none of us, folks, can get the vaccine and get headed back to normalcy in our lives until the first one is administered. And we've passed that now. And I think that's just awesome. I'm excited for you guys over there in the UK. I highly recommend any of you to get the vaccine when your number comes up. By all means, do it so we can get back to normal and many of us can start traveling and start cruising and start doing all the things that we love to do. Okay. Moving on to a couple other things. After months of being anchored off the coast of the Bahamas, the Carnival breeze returned to Miami yesterday. Not Port Canaveral, Port Miami. It's the sister ship of the Horizon, which returned to Florida last month. Meanwhile, before any ship from Carnival or any other line can sail out of the U.S., it will have to undergo a certification process being overseen by the CDC, and they're being tough on the guys. One of the benchmarks outlined in the conditional sail order is that each ship must complete a series of simulated voyages to show the CDC that they have not only implemented the recommended health and safety protocols, but have their crews properly trained also. So, good sign. It's a half a step closer to us cruising again. It's interesting that one of the cruise lines that has been green lighted by the CDC, they've passed all this ahead of stuff, is Bahamas Paradise. Their one ship has passed and is ready to go. Still no information on their website when they're actually going to start. So I assume they're waiting to get some numbers down in Florida before they actually start sailing out of Palm Beach. So a little sip of Diet Coke there, folks. All right, the next story this morning. Antarctica is becoming a hot cruise destination, and cruise lines are offering more voyages to the seventh continent than ever before. Regent Seven Seas Cruises is returning to Antarctica in 2022 for the first time in over 10 years. Seven Seas Voyagers will sail a 19-night round-trip cruise from Buenos Aires. That will be the cruise line's Journey to Antarctica trip. Departing January 31st, 2022, this sailing offers guests spectacular viewing over 3 days of some of the white continent's best-known sights and unique wildlife spanning seals, whales, penguins, and seabirds, all from the balcony of their suite or one of the cruise ship's panoramic viewing decks. Highlights include the majestic cliffs of Neumayer Channel, Paradise Bay's icy landscape, and the stunning marine life at Dolman Bay. To make the experience even more memorable, guests can also enjoy a free 3-night Chilean Wonders and Wines pre-cruise land program or a free 3-night post-cruise land program in lively Buenos Aires. Now, folks, I've said this before. I have never sailed Regent Seven Seas cruises. It's in the past when I've even looked, it's been a little pricey for my wallet. But some of you that have bucket list cruises, the Antarctic might be on your bucket list, and there's a chance for you to do it. So, meanwhile, Norwegian Cruise Line, something maybe more affordable to all of us, is going to be installing a new continuous disinfection air purification system across all of its ships, including those from Norwegian Cruise Line, Oceania Cruises, and the Regent Seven Seas Cruises. This new system is set to reduce any exposure to coronavirus on board. All 28 ships that the cruise company owns will have a new air purification system that will help protect guests and crews from the virus. The new air filtration system technology will feature continuous active COVID disinfection through bipolar ionization in the air and on surfaces on all natural solution with no harmful chemicals, radiations, or byproducts. Robin Lindsay, who's Executive Vice President of Vessel Operations for Norwegian, said this morning, while it's impossible to completely eliminate the risk associated with COVID-19, the Atmos Air technology is one of the many investments the company is making to enhance its already rigorous health and safety standards. Hats off, Norwegian. Several companies are looking hard at the air handling system. Glad you're making the move you're making. I will be more than happy to breathe the air on Norwegian ships in October on the European tour with the Cruise Amigos. I hope to be sailing before then. Would be nice, but at least by October, I'm going to Europe and go sail around over there with Pete and some of the folks that follow us over there in Europe. So, one other bit of news in the way of cruises this morning. Aidaperla has departed Gran Canaria on yesterday on its first revenue sailing voyage since the pandemic started. According to reports, 800 people are on board the 3,250 passenger ship. The crew on board can't wait to put a smile on our guests' faces again and are excited to, Ada wrote earlier this week in a Facebook post. The Aidaperla is sailing a 7-night round trip from Gran Canaria with calls in Santa Cruz de la Palma, Santa Cruz de Tenerife, Fuerteventura, and Arrecife Lanzarote. I'm probably pronouncing those all wrong, but that's the way it is. The vessel is expected to take the same journey on the 12th and the 19th, which is a Christmas sailing. Then the ship will be sailing a slightly altered itinerary from the same port. So Aidaperla is the second ship in the Aida cruise line to get out there and get back to business. Good for them. Please keep it safe. Do it right. We can't afford another screw up, folks. We're getting too close now. Okay. One other thing worth mentioning this morning. A number of the airlines are expanding their flights to Antigua and Barbuda for the winter as demand for the destination continues to rise, officials said yesterday. Air Canada made its return to Antigua this weekend, while more United States and United Kingdom-based carriers are adding flights this winter also. That includes American Airlines, which will operate an additional daily flight to Antigua from Miami, with service beginning on the 17th. American is also resuming daily flights to Antigua from JFK in New York on December 18th. Delta is expanding its flights from weekly Saturday flight from Atlanta to Antigua to 5 flights each week beginning December 18th. The country's tourism continues along the path of positive recovery with airlift increases, said Colin James, CEO of the Antigua and Barbuda Tourism Authority. 5 flights from Atlanta with Delta is the most flights we've ever had. This airlift coming out of Atlanta is a vote of confidence in the destination. It's a strong endorsement for the country's tourism efforts. Antigua and Barbuda was one of the first Caribbean destinations to reopen for tourism amid the pandemic when it did so in June. British Airways will also be revamping some flights to the destination with the return of daily flights starting on December 11th, running through January. And for the first time ever, British Airways will operate 2 flights on December 19th and 2 flights on December 26th to handle some of the holiday traffic. So, in this country, they're recommending we don't travel for the holidays again. We're probably just still a few days away before we're going to start getting smacked with a spike from Thanksgiving. So they're really pushing hard to eliminate any unnecessary travel for Christmas this year. What I told my family is, folks, let's just plan on celebrating Christmas in June or July. Let's not run the risk of infecting any of us this year, this Christmas. As much as I'd like to go to Kentucky and see my son and my grandkids or have them come here, let's keep all of us safe until we get the vaccines in our arm and we get things back to normal. And I highly recommend all of you to do that, as much as we don't want to. I understand that, guys. So All right, let's go see who's with us over in the chat room this morning. I know Tom and Gretchen are both here. Good morning, you guys. Sonny's here from down in Mississippi. Nikki's here from Jacksonville. Chilly Jacksonville is 43 degrees. Boy, that's hell. I could almost get naked and run around and work on my tan at 43 degrees. Well, number one, I can't do much running around. Number two, I wouldn't get naked at 43 degrees, but I'm making a point. Emily says, good morning, gang. Hi, Emily, up there in New York. Tom says, South America was terrific with the penguins. Yeah, I tell you what, I didn't want to take a chance and look up how much that cruise cost to Antarctica. But man, I could stand that. I could stand that itinerary. That's a bucket list for me. So Jason's with us up in Pittsburgh. The Aida cruise sounds fun. Yeah, I've never sailed on Aida. Of course, I'm not done anything out of Germany or UK before. But yeah, it's a Carnival on ship. I mean, it's run like Carnivals run. I'm assuming. I'd do it. I'd try an Aida ship if we had a chance to do that. Tom Henry says, I'm still waiting for my 14-day transatlantic San Juan to Barcelona to get canceled, and that's in April. Yesterday, the countdown was 125 days, which is opening day for meal reservations for the club suite cabins. Wow. That's a borderline one, Tom. I don't know. Maybe. That's a maybe that you'll sail that one. I'm not saying, like when Jason going the first week in January, as much as we wanted Jason to be able to sail, I don't think any of us really thought he was going to the first week in January, unfortunately. Now getting into another quarter down and well into vaccination, maybe by then we start seeing some numbers improving from the vaccination, assuming now that people that are sailing keep it right and keep it clean and keep it safe. We got a chance. You got a chance, Tom. Tom says, I booked my 7 specialty dinners yesterday. Well, I think you probably did a wise thing, just so I can virtually think of those meals when the cruise is canceled. Yeah. Well, let's look at it this way, Tom. Soon we're not going to be thinking virtually anymore. We're going to be back to thinking normal again. Won't that be nice? And, folks, I fussed about the political side of things a lot. You know what I think about politicians? I'm almost as angry at some of the media on their handling of things. They made a big to-do the last couple days on the left media, call a spade, where Pfizer offered 100 million doses to the administration during the summer. And the left is making it sound like the administration just completely turned it down. Don't want it. Why didn't they get it? And not the left politics on this one. This is the left media is making it sound like the administration did something wrong. Now, you got to think back to in the summer when this was first talked about, that they were going to offer another 100 million doses. They had just started this program on, paying for a ton of the speed up program on developing the vaccines and giving these companies money, basically buying doses up front when they had no idea if the vaccines were going to work or not. I mean, I remember when they first announced that program that I'm thinking, holy crap, are they nuts? But it worked out. I mean, at least so far, you've got Pfizer and Moderna, and there's several others that are coming right behind it that got some money and got it way faster than possible. I mean, back in March and April, when this thing first kicked in, I mean, yeah, they were talking about a couple years to get a vaccine. Now, people were 9 months in, and we got people getting stuck in the arm today over there in England. So you got to give credit where it's due. The administration started this fast track program, and it's worked. Give them credit for that. But don't make it sound like they did something wrong because they didn't take another 100 million doses. At the time, they didn't know it was going to work. So why would they buy another 100 million doses and have no idea if it was going to be feasible or not? I'm sorry. Yeah, it would be nice to have another 100 million doses coming in. It'll get here. You know, it's going to take some time. None of us can be, impatient with it. Whenever my number comes up, I'll be the first one in line to get there. If it's 3 weeks from now, a month from now, 2 months from now, I'll be there. And 21 days later, I'll be back to get the second jab in my arm. I don't care how much it hurts. So, Jason says his flight to St. Thomas was only $200 round trip. That's not a bad price. Holy cow. What airline, Jason? Good price. Spirit down, America back, 2 one-way tickets. That's interesting, too. Spirit, the last couple of times I've priced flights, Spirit was right in there on the pricing. I've never flown on Spirit. Jason says, I'll probably have the vaccine by the end of December. That's terrific. Some of you may not know, Jason is part of our healthcare industry. Hey, Rob Slevin is with us. Rob, how you doing? I'm booked for a May 15th cruise. We'll wait until February to lock things down. I'm saying by 15th of May, you're up there, in my mind, 80-90% chance you're going to go. I think something really bad's got to happen between now and then to stop things about that late in the year. I'm feeling awfully good about our future today, folks. All because of us actually seeing vaccines in somebody's arm. Nikki says, we went to Antarctica on Princess, just cruised through, didn't get to explore on foot, but it was magnificent. I could dig it. I mean, I don't like cold weather, but hell, I'll go to, I could wear a coat for heaven's sakes. Of course, I enjoyed Tom Henry running around with the penguins. It was probably cold too. John's with us from up there in Minnesota. Those of you watched the show Saturday, you know that I tease John all the time about being a pot farmer. Well, now with Pete, I'm going to call him a potato farmer. He did a whole litany of one-liners about potatoes on Sunday, which started on Emma's show. So now I'm the one that lives on a farm. I got a pot farmer and a potato farmer and me. Emily says, you have snow. Actually, I don't know if he's going to change his answer, but they have not had any. I know it's like, 56 degrees in northern Minnesota. It's ridiculous. Somebody on the weather channels they're standing on their heads or something. Rob says, by the way, hi from Kentucky. As soon as I get jabbed in my arms a couple times, and things start opening up. One of my first trips has got to be to Louisville. Rob, I got to get out there and see the son and grandkids. That's terrible. You know, I love doing, video chats with my family and stuff since I can't be with them. But damn, I just want a hug and a kiss and drink a little good Kentucky bourbon out there with my son and do some stuff. Tom Henry says Chillie would not fit in a Spirit seat. They're tight and charged for carry-on bags too, so be careful. Yeah, well, remember I'm a fat guy, so it's good to know that Spirit seats are smaller than normal. That's why it's so cheap, Jason says. Yeah, I can see that. Everyone here that is on today, except for Jason, I will be able to get the vaccine first. Someone like me is called the general public spring or summer before I can get the vaccine. Maybe it's not going to be near as long as you think, Emily. Some information this morning. I mean, they're talking now about maybe getting everybody in the States that wants a vaccine done by early in the summer. So everybody that wants it. So I'm telling you folks, I'm really up today on everything that's going on in the world. Yeah, we're still locked down. It's going to be a crappy Christmas no matter what we do. But we got a good shot of, I think, things getting back to normal way sooner than we thought. So that's it. All right, guys. So no show on Thursday. I will be posting my my weekly journey with prostate cancer today when I get back from the doctor or tomorrow morning. So watch out for that. But as you know, Thursday I'm going to be surgically put in a port in my collar, somewhere in my collarbone vicinity. They say underneath the collarbone. I don't know what that means. But they're going to put a port in there, which is for the chemo. So when I go lay in a bunk bed and whatever they're putting me in the hospital, they stick the chemo in my neck. So as just as long as I can put bourbon in it when I get home that night, I don't care about the chemo business. But anyway, that starts on Monday. So no show Thursday to have that thing put in. And then, but I'll be back with you on Saturday, no matter how I feel. Although I shouldn't feel bad just from having that put in. So we'll see. So that's happening Thursday. So no show Thursday, guys. Sorry. Be the first show I've had to cancel through all this nuttiness. And then I'll be back with you on Saturday. And then I have chemo on Monday. My plans are to do my show on Tuesday after chemo. That's plans. However, I have no idea my reaction to it. So I'll leave that kind of in abeyance, that if I have really adverse reaction to the chemo, that I'll, if I cancel out at the last minute, you guys will know why. But I'm not planning on it. I'm planning on doing the show. I'm planning on trying to do as many shows as possible through this whole thing. And even if sometimes I have to bail early, which actually I have not been doing near as much the last couple weeks because I'm not as uncomfortable as I was the first 3 weeks that I had the catheter business. So I'm not near as uncomfortable as I've been, which is a good thing. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, please, guys, stay safe. Wear your mask, socially distance. Keep washing your hands. Keep sanitizing. Do all those good things that we know we need to do. And one day soon, rather than later, we'll all be back to normal and I'll be on a cruise ship somewhere in this great, big, wonderful world of ours. This is the old fat travel guy. See you next time. Later, y'all.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.